Visual novels are a genre some people wouldn't consider games. I mean, whether I agree or disagree doesn't really matter on that, but visual novels can do something for me that no other video game has. Let me live out the fantasy of a steady job, friends, and a love life. Anyway, here's a list of visual novels I love. Our first visual novel on the list is one called A Date with Death. It's free to play with a $7 DLC and another DLC dropping in December. That's probably going to be the same price. You, as an MC, are incredibly lucky or unlucky, depending on how you consider it. You've had a lot of near-death experiences, but you've always managed to scrape by. This time, things are different, as a Grim Reaper hits you up in your DMs for your soul, because every other way seems to have failed. The question is, can you riz your way out of this, or will you be claimed by the Reaper? This game is fairly cute with the little things you can do, like customize your room, water your plant, pet your dog or cat or whatever animal you have, eavesdrop on your neighbors. There's a cute little story, like side story that goes on if you eavesdrops on your neighbors every day. As well as like customizable MC, being able to be male, female, non-binary, and quite a few different outfits, hair colors, and sort of styles to choose from. Generally, this doesn't affect much of the game, it's just sort of an immersion thing. About one run will take you 4 hours. There's a good amount of replayability, and if you love calling a grown man baby girl, then I can highly recommend it. Now, the next game on our list is a game called Until Then. Now, this might not count as a visual novel per se. It's more of an interactive fiction style, kind of like a Life is Strange game, if you will. But I'm still going to include it because it's my video. Now, it's sitting at a $20 price point with no DLC and no plans of DLC as far as I'm aware. Until Then is a story that follows Mark Borja, a teenager in the Philippines, as he goes through his normal, everyday life. At least until a series of mysterious events, unreliable memories, and weird weather patterns send him down a path to uncover the mysteries that are happening. With the help of his friends, he navigates this set of new trials and tribulations where friendships are tested, love blossoms, and tragedy strikes. A game that teaches us no matter how bad it may seem, it is not the end of the world. Now, this game took me about 18 hours to beat. Where it lacks in replayability, it makes up for in its story. The story is very strong. It's absolutely phenomenal. It'll throw twists where you didn't expect them. It'll surprise you, make you laugh, angry, and cry all at once. With a killer soundtrack to boot, I can do nothing but sing this game's praises. The next games on our list are Class of '09 and Class of '09 The Re-Up. Now, I know this is technically two games, but I'll combine them for the sake of it. The first game is $10 and the re-up is $15, and there's no DLC for either of them. First one is 15 endings and the second one is 8, so you're getting a decent amount of story and playtime, although the first one there's a lot more story overlap, which is essentially like, yeah, there's different choices, but they're all going down the same branch, you know? These games are funny, crass, edgy, as you'd expect from a game set in 2009. It's high school, right? The characters are lovable, despite being awful, and somewhat relatable at times to the point you'd probably have met someone like them. I know I've definitely met a few people like Kylar and Nicole in my life, and definitely have met a few Jekkas. Now, despite my feelings on the flip side, which is the third game in the franchise, I stand by the fact that these two games are actually good. Not only as a comedy game, but in the social commentary they're trying to make. Now, I have since learned, since I wrote this script, so this is me ad-libbing at the moment, that apparently first two games had a bit of a ghostwriter, so I have been vindicated in my feelings. Anyway, to continue on. In total, both games will probably take 3 to 4 hours each, assuming you don't skip through some of the overlap. And, you know, they're pretty solid games overall. They're funny, the characters are lovable, and all the fan content I've seen of them have been really enjoyable, so I do highly recommend these games, even if the flip side was absolutely awful, and I don't recommend anyone playing that.
Shut the fuck up! Die! Die in a plane crash!
That's... whatever.
The next game on our list is a game called Arcadia Fallen, sitting at an $18 price point with no DLC. You reside in a magical world in a small town where people are more suspicious of magic, especially when it's not regulated. You are an alchemist's apprentice, learning from your master to run a potion shop, and one day you see a girl being attacked in an alleyway, and you intervene heroically, but it does cost you your life. But turns out the girl you saved was a spirit named Mime, and she binds herself to your soul to save your life. But now bound together, not only are you sort of breaking a few of the magical laws in this land, but you're also getting roped into a battle to save the world from a army of demons, to put it bluntly. To do this, you and an unlikely group of heroes must work together. This game took me about 8 hours for one run. It has multiple endings and 4 different love interests, which makes the game's replayability quite high. And your decisions at key points in the story will determine your personality as it goes on. Are you more scrappy? Are you more of a scaredy cat? Well, that's up to you. It also has full voice acting, so if you're not one for reading too much, it's definitely a selling point. And the voice cast do an amazing job. I love this game so much, I bought the Mime plushie immediately after finishing my first run. And it has a sequel coming out sometime next year that I'm quite looking forward to. So I can highly recommend this game. The next game on our list is a game called Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood. Sitting at an $18 price point with no DLC, Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood is an immersive experience about a witch who is banished for the crime of predicting the fall of her coven with tarot cards. She's finally gotten bored with banishment and makes a deal with a behemoth, which is, for context, sort of like a Cthulhu-esque monster, using his powers to fulfill her dreams. But, as with all things, there is a cost. If you like tarot and witchcraft, then you'll love this game, with a wide cast of characters that are all lovable in their own right, with designs that range from normal and cozy to eldritch and a little gross. The game will take you through a story that goes through the life of Fortuna, our protagonist, in a path you might not expect. A lot of choices that affect every decision you make throughout the game. And let me tell you, some of these moments had me stressing. This game has multiple endings and multiple paths in those endings as well, with one run taking me about 7 hours. There's a lot of replayability, although there's only one love interest, but you'll see why there it is if you play the game. They also made a dildo of the behemoth's penis. So, if you're into that, there's always that for you. Anyway, I highly recommend the game. It's fun, it's got a nice soundtrack, and a really nice aesthetic. Now, the next game on the list, and the final game, I should mention that this list really wasn't like in order of games I love versus games, I like least or whatever. But this one is my personal favorite. It's a game called Our Life, Beginning and Always. I could gush about this game for hours, and I should say before I talk about it, I have 112 hours in this goddamn game. The base game is free, but there's a lot of DLC. In Step 1, 2, and 3, they each have a DLC which costs about $4. And there's a wedding DLC after for about $3, and then there's 2 alternate love interest DLCs that are $5 each. So you're looking at, what is that, $12, $17, and about 20, so 20, 30, about $30 a DLC, something like that. I'm not good at math. Leave me alone. Game goes as such. You live in a little beach town known as Sunset Bird, where you meet a crying boy named Cove who just moved in across the street. You two will get to know each other as go through your phases of life, and you will grow closer either as friends or as true love. Stages are childhood, teenage years, and young adult. Each of them have 5 different scenes, 10 if you have the DLC, with a prologue / epilogue after each set. You get a lot of choices, and I mean a lot of choices. Although the choices don't change your route per se, they do affect some of the outcomes in the game and future dialogues in the game as well. Even like, for example, something you do in your childhood could affect something that affected like a dialogue that happens when you are an adult. Stuff like just like fun little memories or whatever. How you treat yourself and Cove affects the way characters act around you. For example, if you baby, quote unquote, Cove, he'll become more reliant on you to have fun and like won't be a super social guy. But if you're more playful and teasing to him, he'll become more extroverted as a person. This game is a feel-good game through and through. There's no real like, it's not a stressful game. There's no like, oh my god, sad bits. I mean, there's maybe a sad bit here and there, but it's the game's supposed to make you happy. It'll make you pink in the cheeks and giddy as can be, even over the simple things, like someone remembering your favorite color or what music you like to listen to. This game has a surprising amount of replayability, and I can attest to that, having over 100 hours, due to the sheer amount of dialogue options and choices that can be made. Do you confess your true love? You can, or do you want to wait for Cove to do it? Are you a problem child, rule follower, sassy, deferring, cool as a cucumber? You can be all these things. Male? Yep. Female? Sure. Non-binary? Absolutely. Transgender? Hell yeah. You also get cute little customization option, but it's not super present except between stages of life where you can like change the color of your hair, put on some earrings, your hairstyle, like, What kind of personality you have around other characters. Are you more relaxed with them? Are you more direct? Do you not like them at all? Um, this is what my MC looks like. Their name is V. Yeah, like from Cyberpunk. Look, I played this game right after I finished Phantom Liberty, so cut me some slack, will ya? Anyway, I'm confident in saying Our Life Beginning and Always is one of my favorite games of all time. Now, for reference, other games on that list include games like Cyberpunk 2077, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter, Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, and Bloodborne. So please know I don't say that lightly. All this to say, yes, I absolutely recommend this game if you like sappy old visual novels. That brings us to the end of the video. There are plenty of visual novels I played that didn't get brought up. It doesn't mean I dislike them, it just means I didn't have space to fit them in the video. Maybe I'll make another one of these one day. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, or don't. I'm not your mother, but you better brush your teeth. Now have a good one. Bye-bye.